So in this video, I want to show you guys how to keep your opt-out percentage low while at the same time still giving your prospects a way to opt out. Because I don't know if you noticed or not, but when people reply stop or end or unsubscribe, the system reads that, and this is something I can't control. The system reads that and it raises your opt-out percentages, which can ultimately get you suspended from being able to send messages. If your opt-out percentage goes over 8%, opt-out percentage over 1%, then you get suspended. If your error rating goes over 8%, you get suspended. That's why it's really important for you to make sure that you are messaging to working numbers. So for now, I'm working on a cheaper way for you guys to verify that phone numbers work before you start sending messages to it. Right now, you have to turn it on inside of settings under business. And you pay per message for the first time. Like the first time that number is ever hit, you pay for that. So without further ado, and some of you may already have this set up in your system. All right, we're going to go to specific responses and we're going to go into DNC. All right, so I actually don't have it set up in this account. First of all, I'm going to delete some things that should not be in there anymore. It's based on an old workflow that I was running. So what we're doing here essentially is we're telling, because we want to send a message similar to this. Your message has to have intro, which is, this is Jamel with this guy by his houses. And then the body, whatever you want it to be, as long as you're not using any of the flagged keywords. And you can check out resources over there on the, well, if you're looking that way, it's that way. You can check out the resources for the keywords that are guaranteed to get flagged. And then you got to have the opt-out language. So this looks like, hey, this is user first name with, go down to account and name, because this is going to populate the name of your account, which should be the name of your business. Okay. And then you do your body. And then normally people say reply stop or end or unsubscribe or unsubscribe. I'm tripping. Or unsubscribe to stop messaging. All right, so that's what it usually looks like. But like I said, if they respond one of these, I think there's one more too, I can't remember. If they respond one of these, it's gonna make your opt-out percentages go up. So what we want to do is we want to bypass that, still give them an option to opt out, which will shut the system down from being able to send them messages again without raising your opt-out percentage. So I like to do reply 0 to end. Now, another note, if your message does not contain the word stop in capital, and it has to be all caps, the word stop, the word end, or the word unsubscribe, the carriers will flag you for not using proper opt-out language. Okay. So what I like to do is put 0, reply 0 to end or stop or unsubscribe. Now, not all three of them, just one of them, whichever one you prefer, because one of these in all caps has to be in the message or it will get flagged. And so that's how your message has to look. Now, since people are inherently slow, I apologize to you in advance if you believe that you are inherently slow and I'm talking about you. I am not. No one specific. But people in this day and age where you could Google anything, people have lost the ability to think for themselves. So they ask a lot of dumbass questions sometimes and do stupid shit. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, we're going to create, my bad, let me slow down, add new workflow trigger. And we're going to say if the customer replied, exact phrase match, the number 0, boom. Now this is right here. So it's saying that if anyone responds the number 0 to any message, that is going to trigger this workflow, which enables D&D for all channels. Phone type, phone status, well, phone tags, and let's do phone status also, straight DNC. And then it's going to move them over to KPI, tracking the prospecting KPI. It's going to mark the conversation as read, so it won't be sitting in your conversations as a new message. It's going to remove from all workflows. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and move that to the bottom. Quick note, when you do remove from all workflows, depending on what you want to happen, the remove from all workflows should either be at the very top or at the very bottom. Now, sometimes the system will actually remove from the workflow that's in, right? So I prefer and I recommend you put it at the very bottom because it's going to go through all of this in like a half a second. It's going to be so fast. It's just going to go through it. So we got this one. So now we need to create more because some people, this is what I was saying earlier, some people may put in O instead of circle. Instead of 0, my bad. Exact phrase match is O. Now, some people may type in a small o. Let's see if it's going to actually read it. Yep. So it's going to read the big O and the small o as two different O's. So then you want to put a 0 with a period because some people will type that. And then you want to put an O, period, capital O, period, exact phrase match, capital O, period, and then small o, period, exact phrase match. And real quick, the difference between contains phrase and exact phrase match is when you put exact phrase match, like that's literally the message that they have to send. Now, contains phrase does not work when you put in one digit, one letter, or one number. It will not trigger the workflow. I guess because it's too broad of a spectrum, just having the system to try to look out for just a 0 or a circle. And you don't want to do like a circle anyway, or a 0, because if they're giving you a price, like it's going to take them out of the system. So always use exact phrase match. And just real quick, man, like not even concerning this particular workflow right here, these workflows could go like, so you could put reply channel. Like, let's say you only want to set up a workflow to trigger if somebody hits you on your chat widget that's on your website or on Facebook Messenger or just an email or SMS or your Instagram DM. You can do that, or a specific workflow. So if you want to set up a specific response workflow to only fire for a specific workflow, like you can do that in here. So for example, let's say you want to run a workflow where you just want to test these out for that specific workflow. You could go in here and change all of these and add the filter, reply to workflow, and select that workflow. And so this workflow will literally only trigger if people respond these things in one specific workflow that you're using. That's how powerful the system is. It goes like, it's super deep. It can go like even deeper than that, right? Just on the customer replied parts, we can do if it has a certain tag, right? If it doesn't have that tag, it won't trigger. Or if the intent type is positive or negative, that's pretty broad. The system doesn't really read that sometimes, and you can even use your custom fields that you created too. Desired payments, PayPal, Cash App, paper check, right? And so if a customer replied and the system reads that their custom field desired payment method is Cash App, then it will trigger this workflow. But if a customer replied and their desired payment method is PayPal, it won't trigger the workflow, right? Like, it goes super deep, guys. So just be mindful of that when you're in here messing around with the workflows. And I highly encourage, if you have time, to go into the system and practice these workflows and just set workflows up and just test them out. Like, just do dumb shit. That's how you're going to learn the system, right? Set it up and then run it out to 10,000 of your prospects, right? Set it up and then test yourself with it. And you do that by hitting test workflow, and then you find yourself, and then you select yourself and you add yourself to the workflow. That's how I recommend running yourself now, obviously you have to go into the CRM and create a contact that is you. But I recommend that before you run any workflow out to your prospects or your leads, to test the workflow and make sure it works first. All right. So anyway, that's it, guys. I'll see you in the next video, and I hope this helps.